So, friends, what I sent you today, you can actually, it's in the back of the siddur, because what's going on, first, good morning, everybody who's here. Ari, Jacob, Moishe, still good. Dr. Joe, David, good.
Morning, Rabbi.
Good morning, good to see everybody.
Good morning.
So the subject matter, friends, this week, and generally this whole book of Vayikra is very, very difficult. It's the laws of purity and impurity, and the laws of tzaras. Someone said to me, like, when it comes to Vayikra, he tunes out and he reconnects when it comes to the next book. So Chassidus beautifully explains, because it's also our, like, what's the relevance and how do you understand it? What does it mean? And the relevance with the laws of impurity and purity don't apply nowadays for the most part, because there's no Beis Hamikdash. Being impure meant basically one of two things. You can't enter the Beis Hamikdash. You cannot eat of sanctified food, of a korban. There's no Beis Hamikdash, there's no korban, so it's largely irrelevant, except for the laws applying to a woman, and nida does apply, but the rest doesn't. So what's the relevance? We're going to look at the following. The custom, not just in Chabad, in many communities, that should never happen to you. You never have to do this. A mourner, in the year that he's in mourning, so every day he learns 2 chapters of Mishnah. The custom is we learn it before, we just say the final words at the end of davening and a final Kaddish. We do it every morning here. What are the 2 chapters of Mishnah? So the first chapter is chapter 24 of the tractate called Kalim, vessels, and it's complex and deals with when a vessel becomes impure, to what kind of impurity it is susceptible, and how can it become purified. You read that chapter, and then we read a chapter 7 of the laws of mikvahs. Mikveh. That's what the mourner reads. He reads the last section and says Kaddish. What's the connection to mourning? First of all, Mishnah is the same letters as the word neshama. So by learning Mishnah, any Mishnah, it causes elevation for the soul of a dear departed. These 2 chapters, because basically the body is a vessel to the soul. So we're learning the laws of vessels. And then the word mikveh, the soul is now going through purification. And the person saying Kaddish is helping the soul repair and go through purification, each one on their level. So we're going to look at the first Mishnah and the last one very briefly to explain it in the light of Hasidus and how the message, each and every one of us in our Avodah. So let's have a look at it. You could actually, I sent it to you on the WhatsApp, but you could, where are we? Friday at 5. Friday 6:30. Okay. First one. I'll read the English and I'll translate it. There are 3 different types of shields. A bench shield is susceptible to midas uncleanliness. A shield used in the arena is susceptible to corpse uncleanliness. And the Arabian toy shield is pure from all uncleanliness. What's going on? Okay, so listen up and I'll explain. So this is one Mishnah of a long list of dealing with hundreds of kinds of vessels. Now, we need to know just the following background. The laws of impurity are extremely complex, I have to tell you. But just to know the following. There's different level of defiling agencies. That this is impure, and if something touches it or moves it or whatever, will also become tameh. Now, again, just bear in mind, what's the relevance? An object that becomes tameh. If an object becomes impure, what's the relevance? So if you touch it, you could become impure. You can't go into the Beis Hamikdash till you go to the mikveh. If you put food in it, it could become impure. Thousands of laws. But I want you to know this. In a way, the most severe defiling agency is a Jewish dead body. Being even under the same tent. But in a way, there's one that's even more. Because to achieve purification from that, it's not easy. You have to be sprinkled with the ashes of the red heifer. It's a 7-day process, an immersion in an ordinary mikveh. But then there are certain impurities in ordinary mikveh, which would mean a rainwater mikveh is not good enough. It has to be an actual mayim chayim, living waters, a spring. Now, I think the bells are one of the mikvahs here in Montreal. Huh? In Valmorin, but I think also here in the city when they built it, spent a lot of, I think, bells to dig really deep, and they actually hit that's the greatest form. Now, that is a greater form of purity, living waters. And who requires to use that? A zov or a zova. What's a zov or a zova? Male and female, it's a discharge. Zov is a discharge of seed. That is not happening in the course of relations. I say gonorrhea, but I don't think it is. It's something else. Huh?
Special adults.
And if it's the highest form, so for that, you have to immerse in a living spring of water. Now, a zova is a woman who has a blood flow not during the regular menstrual cycle. This is a very high form of impurity. And such a person who is experiencing this, till he purifies himself, he's got to wait 7 days till after the flow is over, and then immerse in a spring. Anything the person sits on, even indirectly, you see a whole lot of cushions, and underneath is a chair. Everything, all the cushions and the chair, becomes ritually impure. So anything he sits or lies on, it's a unique law. You don't have to touch it. Sit or lie on it. It's called midras. Just put your weight on it somehow. Somehow put your weight on it, and that object is made to sit on. It's going to be made to sit on or lie on, or as a bed or as a couch. Believe it or not, I mean, people would purify couches, to take them into mikvahs if they wanted them to be pure. It could be left impure. Just don't use it if you're going to the base of Mikdash. It's a whole world that people are not so familiar. So now here's the subject at hand here. Shields. There's 3 kinds of shields. And the question is, there are vessels. A vessel which is functional, and this is another law. Only a vessel that is functional is subject to the laws of impurity. If it's not a functional thing, it's impervious. It can't become impure. 3 vessels. Look at it again. A bent shield. Now this is talking about in war, he's using it to fight. Why is it bent? You only need it because in the throes of battle, you want to be protected. If you look at the old pictures, the Roman shields were like wraparounds. You walked in the middle of it, you're protected from arrows at the side. Now, because it's bent, not only was it a protection during the fray of the battle, they slept in them. They also served as their beds. So now see the halacha, since it's a bent shield and they would use it to sleep, Tomei Midas, it's acceptable to this impurity I just described you, that if someone would be a Zov and would sit, or it's acceptable, or lie in this shield, since it's made to sit on or lie on, not just as a protection, it's acceptable to this malady. It's an impurity which is an unnatural impurity, this flow, and it's so impure that it needs the highest form of mikveh. Next shield, this is a shield used in the arena, meaning to say for sport. He's practicing. It's functional, but it's not a bed. So therefore, it's not susceptible to the highest form, the worst kind of impurity, which is imparted upon things you sit. That's the law, on or lie on, but is functional. So it's susceptible to any kind of impurity, including corpse impurity, because it's functional. You're using it as in the sport to practice. And the Arabian toy shield is pure from all uncleanness. What is this? This is ornamental. It's ornamental, it has no function. You would just maybe wear it as like an ornament. Since it has no function, it's not susceptible to what? The impurity. Okay, it's a strange law. Who has shields today? What's the relevance? And this is one of hundreds like this. Again, I said people are learning it like you have to learn it. It's a Torah part you have to learn. But what's the message? So Chassidus reveals the soul. So here's the soul of this law. It's actually describing 3 levels that a person could be at in this world here in life. And I'll say the 3 words, and then I'll back it up with explanation. Life as a battle, one level. Life is a battle. Life is a sport. The second level. And the third level, life is, he uses it here, a toy. Life, it's a toy. What's the point of a toy? A toy is to bring delight. Light is delightful. Okay, life is a battle. Life is a sport. Light is about delight. Now, just the word, just to point out now right away, Arvin, which means Arab, has many, there's this I in the Reish base has many meanings. One is sweet, Arev. Life is sweet. So the same thing. Life is, so the first level, it's a battle. Second one, it's a sport. Sport is, we're going to define that in a minute, or it's pure sweetness. What are these levels? The first level is life is a battle. I guess most of us would be in that category. Everywhere we turn, there is the Yetzer Hara. That is the temptation. And we've got to have protection. We've got to be protected from all sides. You always got to be on guard. That's the first bent shield. And because life is a battle, we're susceptible to the worst kinds of impurity. This first impurity we're talking about, it's a sexual malady. And I'll say, just say it comes as a result of indulgence, impurity, whatever it is. But a person is susceptible to that. It's got to always be on guard wherever he goes, to fall down and be tempted by the lowest form of impurity. That's the first level. So, like Torah is a shield. I'll say just use that. It's a shield. You got to be wrapped in Torah, my dear friend. You have to be constantly be on guard to not expose yourself. Be in a battle. You open up a little opening, that's it. You've invited, God forbid. So such a person has to constantly be on guard for what? For the biggest attack. The Yetzer Hara will come, surprise attack from the side, from anywhere, out of nowhere. He's always ready. That's one level. Then there's a higher level. A person has worked on himself and transformed himself. Doesn't see the world as an enemy. So what's the world? It's a sport. What's the point of the sport? You take the other guy combatant seriously. It's not out to hurt me. It's just that it bring out the best in me. Like you're working out in the gym. You're a sport. The enemy are the weights. So you're going there willingly because through the weights and through the sports you develop. So it's a whole different attitude that he has to life. His whole attitude is it's only there to bring out the best in me. I'm not quite protect. He's not in the protective mode. He's in a proactive. He's out there in the world, all here and it's an opportunity for another mitzvah to grow. So such a person, he's not susceptible to the worst kinds of impurity because his attitude, let's make this clear. The first person, the world, like it's real, it's a real temptation. It's real. And he's constantly, he's drooling at the mouth. The second one, he's not drooling at the mouth. It's only here. It's a sport. It's only here to tempt. I see through it and I do what I have to do. So he's not going to be susceptible to the worst kinds of impurity, like sickness. The first one, Azov, is a malady, is a sickness. But he's going to be susceptible to the natural impurities. Till Mashiach comes, death is part of nature. So the natural impurities, so he's not impervious. You got to be careful, but wrapped around, constantly, always on guard and in fear. He's not in fear. He approaches life as it's a game, meaning that he sees through it. Why is there Yetzer Hara? It's because just to test me. The first guy he sees doesn't see it as a test. He sees it as something he really wants. Very big difference. He knows it's a test, but in his world, it's something that he wants. So such a person, the lowest level, susceptible to everything. The one who sees life merely as a test constantly, he's conscious of that, front and center. He's not susceptible to the worst, but to other impurities, yes. Always be on guard. The Rabbi and toy, what's that? Sweet. We said the word Arav means sweet, pleasure. I'm here to cause Hashem delight. It's not about him altogether. That's the third level. This is the highest level of tzaddik or chassid, where it's not about him. What this really is referring to entertainment that are people, as I'm remembering, commentators explain, it's a shield that's used to entertain the king who's watching a play or so functional. It's all ornamental. Who is the watching? All the Eibishter. So the Eibishter has delight and pleasure from what I do. If he's completely selfless, then this person is impervious. You put him anywhere, he's going to be okay, and he's not just going to be not affected by what he sees. He's going to bring a revolution there. I'm just thinking. I mean, people ask the secret of shlichus, or a guy. I'm just thinking of the example of Rabbi Grossbaum, who used to go into the discos. It's not everybody to go there to find the shamas there. Why? Because he's going to find the shamas that to bring a neshama back to the Eibishter's for the Eibishter's tainug. Just the whole thing, just like it's just completely impervious. It's like that doesn't move, doesn't excite him at all. Why? Because why is he there? To cause the Eibishter tainug, and that's also the secret of shluchim in a way. How do they send shlichter? Who knows where? There's no infrastructure. They not only don't succumb, they make a revolution because what's driving them is nachas ruach. B'shluchim. B'shluchim means I want to bring nachas to the Eibishter, to the one who sent me. So if you're plugged into that place, and what drives my life is God's nachas, send him anywhere. He's not going to be susceptible. On the contrary, he'll bring their revolution. That is the first mission. Now look at the last mission. Yeah, we're clear? The 3 levels. So we said before, life is a battle. Life is a test, second level, a sport, a test. Or life is about bringing nachas and delight to Hashem, sweetness to Hashem. We're playing out our role, performing for Him to bring a smile on Hashem's face. Final Mishnah. Now, before you look at the Mishnah, let me just tell you what's going on over here. So we said before, make it very quick, that in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, I mean, beds could become impure. So if you want to use that bed, and the next day go to the Beis Hamikdash, if you want to do that, you have to purify it. And you got to purify it in a mikveh, which is a spring. Problem is, it's very big. So how do you immerse it? So the Mishnah says, we'll read in the if he's immersing a bed, a large object, so he's pressing it down to the water. So the bottom is thick mud. He's pressing it in to the mud. Tahira, the end, since it's all submerged at the end, it's tahir. Before the legs went into the mud, they were touched by the water, so it's tahir. The Mishnah is giving solutions for different problems. Mikveh, you have a low mikveh, and he wants to immerse in it, but it's too low. It has the 40 saw, it has the amount. Because it's shallow, because it's very big, he can't immerse. You got to raise the water table. How do you do that? So you press down bundles of sticks or even bundles of reeds. They've got to be not solid objects, so that would divide the water. It's got to be that the water could pass through. So now you raise the water table, and it descends. Well, maybe we'll get to that, but I want to explain the last thing. Finally, the mix was talking about, first we start with a big object. You're afraid. How do you do that? Not you're afraid. So it's okay as long as when it goes into the water touches it. Now a very small thing. A needle became impure. He wants to purify it because he wants or she wants to use it during times when they're going to be going yontif, going to the Beis Hamikdash. But he's afraid I'm going to lose it if I drop it into the mikveh. What do I do? So if you listen, this is what we say that a needle. So it steps going down into the cave, into the spring. He puts it on the top, the needle on the top step. So he makes a to and fro motion with the water. When the wave passes over, as long as he doesn't scoop the water up, that's no good. He's separated. But he's pushing the water from the mikveh to the mikveh is pure. So we've got a few minutes left. Then I've explained like this. What's the spiritual meaning? A needle. And why do we end with this? The needle is the symbol of the neshama coming down to the world. Why? And this is what the mourner is saying. And what's he finishing with? Tahira. His final statement, Tahira, the declaration, the soul is pure. Why is a needle the symbol? What's the function of a needle? A needle, the function is to connect two pieces of cloth. What's our function? To connect heaven and earth, to stitch together mitzvah by mitzvah to bring godliness to the world. How does a needle do this? One end is a point that pierces the cloth. The other end is a little hole through which a thread is attached. And here we thread by thread. What's the point? The point is, number one, bittul. Bittul means, how do we break through the concealment of the world? The world, like the first Mishnah we learned, it's a big battle. It's very tempting. It's a big ogre. All the taivas that are right there before us. How am I going to pierce through it? So the point of the needle, a point means that it really is, it's the smallest. A point really is just, a line already is a series of points. But a point means you're there, but you're not taking up space. The neshama comes down here to learn to surrender to God. Surrender. The neshama in heaven doesn't surrender to God. On the contrary, it's filled with Hashem's presence. It loves Hashem. It is in awe of God. There's no sacrifice. There's no bittul surrender. Put self aside. It's fill me more and more. Here, because of all of the distractions, it requires we got to put everything aside. That's all I have to do. And I'm going to pierce through the concealment no matter what. Rephrase that. It's a commitment, no matter what obstacle stands in my way, I'm going through it. I'm going through it. That's why the Neshama comes down here, to learn this, to pierce through the veil. God's here, except concealed terribly. So we've got to punch through the mask. The other end, the thread. That's the tzitzis, which represents all the mitzvahs. The mitzvahs are the threads which mitzvah by mitzvah connect the world. So the needle is the symbol of the neshama. So the Rebbe says like this. Like, remember when the Rebbe said this, actually. Speaking to children, was a rally for children, was a yotzat of his father. And he's saying, this mission is our generation. It's a final mission, we're the final generation. Our generation does need a big cleansing. At the top of the top step of the mikveh, and the wave passes over it, showing it. What we have gone through, that this generation is talking about the Holocaust and all the suffering of Yidden in Golos, all of the impurities. It didn't stick so deep. It's not, the sins aren't so deep. It's all superficial. A little bit of he has to bring him down to the bowels of the mikveh and hold him down there and clean him. Doesn't need it. Doesn't need it. The top rung, and within 1 second, kivin shal av aleh hagal, when the wave passes over it, tahira, he's already tahir. I'll just add one more thing. The word gal means a wave. Yeah, but the word gal is also lamed gimel, lag ba'omer. Now, lamed gimel, lag ba'omer, and the word gal means to reveal. Galot is to reveal. Last generation. The last generations, like it's like saying, we were thrust down to the depth, and now we're the top of the mikveh to come out purified. That's our generation. That's why Chassidus was revealed in the last generation. This is the Gal. Chassidus is the revelation, like Ba'omer, the Shimba Yochai was Yoshad is Lag Ba'omer 33, which is the same letters, because he revealed Gal. He revealed the depth of Chassidus, of the deeper level of Torah, but it took thousands of years before it be revealed at the end of time. So the end of time, Chassidus is revealed. Why? With all the explanations that you all know, because Chassidus is the depth of Torah, and at the end of Golus, the depth of the new Jewish neshama is being revealed, like never before. In previous generations, the sophistication of the neshama, great scholars and great love of God. Our generation, we don't have all of that. But the core Pintele Yid revealed in this generation like no generation before. That's unique. The depth, and that's what Chassidus is, the depth of Torah revealed. That's all hinted to in the Gal. And like I told you, we're seeing now, I remember because the March of Living, I've told you the story when I was in Bialik doing the minyan every morning for Marla Miller, who passed away. Her brothers built the building, so while they were building, these guys got to know them. We did the minyan, and the kids went to the March of Living during the time, and they came back this time. The kids came back inspired, etc. Like, it's unbelievable. And I asked her, when she was wearing tzitzis, this is the thread. What was the most inspiring moment? The whole trip. And his answer was the Kaddish in Auschwitz. And the logic, it makes no sense. If there's one place in the world that can't be a God, it's in Auschwitz. If you would have told me the Kotel, Israel, I'd understand that. But the Kaddish, that's what, because it's inexplicable. But that touched the pintele yid, the depth of the neshama. I'm a yid in the deepest way. And we're seeing this now. The hostages that are coming out, the most extraordinary way, finding that pintele yid, where dafke, in the most concealment. That's our generation. So we're at the top of the mikveh. We don't need a big purification. Yidale, I give him a hug and invite him to the house. Finished. He's done. He's already responding. The neshama is on fire, and we're ready for redemption. A wonderful day, everybody. Good job.